Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities in Miniatures, and today I have something that I didn't think I'd actually, number one, find, but number two, actually really want to get. And that is Flame Toys' new Leo Prime Transformers model kit. Now, looking at it, maybe you can see why aesthetically this is really interesting to me, and I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not a big Transformers fan. I mean, I enjoyed it as a kid, and there were definitely a couple of standout figures and, you know, designs that I really liked, and even still have some fondness for. And I mean, looking at a lot of, like, the Flame Toys Katakuri figures, they're really nice looking, but they've got really big price tags that go along with them. Me, personally, I like building my stuff as well, so when I saw that they had this new Leo Prime kit, I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to take a shot. I really did enjoy the, what was it, the Shattered Glass Drift that I got. I'll find him. I know I've got him tucked away somewhere. We'll grab him when this is all finished. But I really dig the fur, especially around like the fur cloak. And he's got the cape with the tail, and he's got the scabbard. The accessories, I think, are what really seal the deal for me. And he doesn't transform, which to me is a plus. I don't like finicky transformation bits on my model kits. Maybe the toys that are designed for it, I can stand it, but not so much on the kits. It does tend to make things really floppy, really fiddly, and, you know, doesn't like to stay together well, in my experiences. Maybe that's just me. So the first thing I notice is this box is quite a bit different layout-wise than the other models in this line. It's way more of like a board game, you know, sitting on the shelf at Barnes & Noble bookstores type of setup, rather than the thick, you know, boxes that a lot of us are used to. On the back side here, we get a look, so you can see, I mean, Prime himself just looks really swanky. I mean, he looks cool with the big old shield. You know what? I'll just say it. It reminds me of like a Digimon. And I'm not ashamed to admit it or anything. I like Digimon designs. I mean, I'm a grown-ass man, and I still think they're super neat looking. It is what it is. But you can see we've got a nice little sprue layout here. And then popping things open. Upside down, no less. So we've got the instruction manual. Here you can see the stickers. Not too many. I know Drift had a ton of them. We'll take a look at that in a little bit. Ooh, Velvety Cape. Okay. Nice material. I stroke it ever so gently. You can see it's already pre-cut, so you can have it actually attached to the model. And yes, there are wires in here, so it can take some posability. I don't know how limited that's going to be, but we'll find out. Okay, standard black-ish gray sprues. A lot of different color separations, so that's kind of cool. Kind of a dark red, and then like a very burgundy-looking red. All of our gold pieces. Shoulder piece is quite large. It's going to be the lion head. Some blues and straight blacks. I don't know what that's going to be for, but all of the various fur parts. More of the actual body. Scabbard. Lion mane. And some gray parts. A couple polycaps in there. Not a whole lot, but then again, I might not need them. And then we've got the sword blade and some shiny clear bits here. Didn't come across the eyes, but you know what? I think that piece right in here behind the sword blade are going to be the eyes. I could be wrong. So part-wise, it doesn't look substantially more than what's come before. Maybe I'm wrong. The price tag was certainly a lot higher for this guy. Thankfully I had some credit. Hold on, let's take a look at the manual. Here you can see the decal sheet. There's really not that many, and to be honest, you probably don't even need a whole lot of them. Alright. Nice CG illustration there. Honestly, even looking at the manual, okay, well, that's pretty dense in terms of how the parts are packed onto the page. This is entirely in English. That's right, we got to build the tail as well for the shoulder. Geez, the hands are a bunch of pieces. Even so, I gotta say, it doesn't look substantially more, per se, than some of the other kits I built. I guess this is an optional clip-on, so if you want to attach the shield onto the hand, usually it's going to sit on the shoulder, but you can have that option to put it onto the arm, if you so wish. And the directions on how to put on his cape. Alright, well, you know what? I think we're good. I'm going to grab all those parts. Let's take a look at how he turns out. We'll grab a couple models, see how it compares in size. If it's really worth the price tag, I guess if you're a big Trans fan and you really dig Optimus in all of his many incarnations, well, I guess it's a no-brainer. But for somebody more like me who just wants a cool-looking kit, we'll see what I think in just a sec. Alright, Leo Prime is all put together here, and I gotta say, I am quite pleased with the results. So the first thing I notice is he seems a little thin. There's not a lot of bulk or weight to him in terms of, I guess, the depth. You can see here he's pretty skinny, but the look that he's got going on is just definitely unique. We haven't seen a lot of models like this. Obviously, you know, a humanoid based on the Beast Wars stuff, done only in humanoid mode as a plastic model kit. Bit different, and I like that. As I was saying earlier, you know, this is totally removable, and what's interesting is there's a whole bunch of optional parts. So you can see here he's got this little red clip thing. There are optional versions for both shoulders to just replace that. If you wanted to take off the cape, which I don't really want to feel like messing around with, there is a basic shoulder pad as well. The cape is removable if you don't want to have the furred. I don't even know if I put the cape in correctly, to be perfectly honest, but it's staying there, so I'm going to leave it be. The joints are pretty tight for the moment. It's a lot of plastic on plastic, modern engineering style, so I think given just limited messing around, playing with it, it's not going to be too much of an issue. I didn't need any glue for the most part. Now, I did actually end up gluing on this specific waist armor here. You'll see that he's got the, I don't know if I can take it off here. It's got a little hole for his scabbard right there. Blade fits in really nicely in the scabbard. I actually ended up gluing the scabbard together as well, just to keep things nice and tight there. You can see over on this waist piece of armor, it's just very plain. There's no hole there. There actually is an optional bit, since most of the parts are duplicated. You can actually have that for either side, but I chose this one. The problem was the scabbard itself was just really heavy for the amount of contact point that the pieces are holding on there, so it just made more sense to go ahead and glue it on there. Poseability is really nice. Even the antennae are poseable and flexible. There's a lot of flex and give on the arms. We have like all kinds of interesting joints for both, you know, at the wrist, the arm, the forearm, the shoulders, double jointed at the elbows. Same thing with the legs. There's a lot of poseability and variation on the poses you can get. I'm not super big on standing here and posing my models for you guys to play with it. I think there's better YouTubers out there. I just want to let everybody get a good sense of what you're going to actually get out of the kit. And he is pretty stable. I know there's on the instruction manual pictures of him in like various kung fu poses, and he totally could do it, I think. I think he's got a good, solid base to work with. In terms of size, we'll grab some other models here. I haven't got that wire to work as nicely as I'd like, and I'm not sure where his tail is supposed to really go there. I kind of wish there was a little bit more hair going down at the back. The only other thing I don't really care for is there's a lot of empty space between the waist joint and the actual waist itself. I feel like there should be just a little bit more not empty space taken out there. A little bit more fill, if you will. There's also another version of his claw here with a little plug for the lion head if you wanted to put that onto the arm itself rather than as a nice shoulder display piece. So how big is he? I did manage to find my drift. And I can knock him over, I guess. Actually, that works out all right. I'd say Prime is, well, yeah. I was going to say Optimus, that's not the right name. Prime is a little bit taller, you can see here. I don't think there's as much bulk in the shoulders as Drift has here. But definitely I think the overall visual is a lot more pronounced. And it is a pretty good size. Here is a 1/144th Gundam kit, just to give you guys a size indicator as I continue to knock Prime over. And with the cool energy sword, oh, the stickers. The stickers, I finally figured out where they went. It's on one little section of the instruction manual, which I already tossed, unfortunately. I was going to show you guys. When it actually shows Prime getting put together, that's where it shows to put the stickers. But as far as I can see, they are completely optional. They aren't really shown in any of the artwork. I didn't bother. I think he looks fine without them. In fact, I feel like it's very toy-like in both its design, colors, the use of the plastic, the rigidity of it. It feels nice and solid. And now, obviously, I can't get him into a reasonable pose. There is a spot on his back if you wanted to go with any of like those universal posing platform stand things. I know Kotobukiya makes a couple, and there's others out there on the market. Bandai's got theirs as well. That's the wrong direction. So yeah, I think if you're a Transformers fan, this is definitely a cool model. If you just like the visual look like me, it reminds me, as I said, of a Digimon, I think. But it's definitely going to look quite impressive with the other illustrious members of my sword-wielding plastic model shelf. We've got quite a few exclusive members too. So for somebody like me who just likes to build models, who likes to, you know, have something different and unique on both the table and the shelf, I think this Leo Prime is a really nice kit. I think considering the cost and the quality, I've got no real issues. Construction was super smooth. It's a really nice kit. Gotta say that. Of course, I wish it was a little cheaper, but I could say that about every single model I've probably built, because I just want to build them as often as many as I can, but that's just me. So I gotta say, despite not being a huge Transformer fan, I really like this kit. Obviously, I wouldn't be doing a video on it, and I wouldn't have bought it otherwise, but I think it has a nice look. It's definitely a nice set of colors. And I think if you are a Transformer fan, like I said, this is definitely one to worth hunting down. And gets me excited about seeing what other models are going to have for us in the future from Flame Toys. I know there is a actual figure of this at some point coming, but I think it's like $400 versus under $100. So I think the math is pretty obvious, at least to me. I don't know about you guys, but definitely something to think about. So, with that said, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye!